When I look in the mirror, I see a girl, beautifully broken, perfectly flawed. I don't even know how I made it. And I'm asking myself questions like, why did I do it? Why did this happen to me? Then I said, you can get through it. You just have to believe what I do now. Gotta make it all count. So why not me? I'm the perfect person to go through this storm. It won't break me, it won't kill me, I'll move on. And then I'll come out even better than before. And I'll never see this place anymore. Cause my faith is getting stronger every day. I'm removing everything that's in my way. And the fact that I survived another day makes me say, why not me? Why not me? One day I'm up, the next I'm down. Problems coming faster than I can count. Who can I run to? No one to talk to. Can't somebody tell me what to do? Why did I do it? Why did this happen to me? You can get through it. You just have to believe what I do now. Gotta make it all count. Person to go through this storm. It won't break me, it won't kill me, I'll move on. Then I'll come out even better than before. And I'll never see this place anymore. Cause my faith is getting stronger every day. I'm removing everything that's in my way. And the fact that I survived another day. Why not me?
I want to thank everybody for coming. This is my thank you to everyone for helping. For trying not to cry, but it's gonna be hard. So I just wanted to have a moment where I can just give a thank you somehow give a thank you. So thank you. There's so much that I didn't know that I went through, and I'm happy for it. Trust me, I'm happy for it, where I am in this place. So first, we're gonna eat, right, Val? Mm-hmm. We're gonna eat, but this is just a little bit of something that I could think of to thank each and every one of y'all. All right. So let's eat.
So before we eat, just want to bless the food. Okay. So, Father God, we give thanks for the food that we are about to receive to nurture our bodies. Please bless the preparers of the food and let us eat, drink, and be happy.
Amen. Did Jeff Alley yet?
Yes, he
Okay.
did. You want me to try to catch him? The setup is all set up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did he leave what we have, or that's so we have shrimp and grits. What? Simple. Salmon and grits. And
Cajun salmon.
Cajun salmon. So something spicy, and I think it's something sweet, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something spicy and something sweet. So please, let's eat.
And there's also mimosas.
And mimosas. That was the other piece. Mimosas. So shrimp, grits, and mimosas.
That is so much close over here.
You should be doing the show. You should be on the radio. You're recognized.
I didn't even know how much I love my dog until he was gone. I was like, you want it? I have one here. No, that's your aunt. On the table.
Yes. Before we begin, I just want to introduce the circle, what I call my new tribe. I can't with this people and how we connected. And so, everyone, this is my wonderful mother. I'm gonna be brief because she don't like attention and she's gonna curse me out later.
Carolyn, what are you doing?
Taught me everything that she's really used against me, like my strength, my determination, my perseverance, my don't take no for an answer. All I've ever seen growing up was her make it happen, no matter what. And so I don't know how to do anything else but make it happen. So I always try to give her what she's given to me and just let her know that I so appreciate her. I'm a skip over. Let's make me in a minute. But this is is my mother. My dear friend Wanda, come on up, baby. We met working at the post office. I was a horrible employee. I learned that I don't like working for anyone. I learned that my dad told me I'm one that marches to my own drum. And for a long time, there were a lot of people that made me feel guilty about that. And so today is one of the days that I call my spiritual birthday, where I'm no longer going to be ashamed of marching to it.
Hallelujah.
And through all of that horrible employee time, Wanda still loved me. Like, yeah, baby. This is my sis Chantel. There's a stigma that says women can't get along. And there's this a horrible stigma about women fighting over men. And Chantel and I met because we were unknowingly dating the same guy.
I love it.
It was, were you divorced yet? Yeah, just going through the divorce. It was her ex-husband and my so-called new boyfriend. But it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. Not to mention, I walk into Walmart Christmas shopping. All of us were Christmas shopping. So I was out this. They were together, and I happened to be in Walmart. Carolyn knows this because I called her because there were handicapped people in there.
Yes, she was running.
But what I love about her is she's my reflection that no matter what, women can definitely stick together, get along, and not let trivial things come in the middle of you. And so I appreciate you for being who you are. I'm going to skip past these two for a purpose. I got to come back to these. My Sil, oh my goodness. Sil is my high school friend. Yes. If we can, Sil's, I feel like our mom has transitioned. If we could just say a quick prayer for her mom. Thank you. So Priscilla and I are high school friends, and there's not many friendships that last past that. We don't have an everyday phone call conversation, but we have a stop, drop, and roll, I need my girls relationship, no more questions asked. And so, funny story, Priscilla is that example of privacy. She's very, very private, and very, very protective over her family. And they were taking family photos one day. This is how close I feel to her family. They were taking family photos. She had them on Facebook, and I said, "Why didn't you call me?" She said, Dondi, it's family. It's right. I just feel so a part of your family. And so she included me in the funeral arrangements for her. She let me in on the funeral arrangement. So now I feel special. Her mom, I swear, I love her mom. Kim Cannon. Come on, girl. There's so many stories, but I just want to thank you for, Kim had everything is timely. And Kim had an event here last month. And when we're going through your pains and you're going through your hurts, there's one little something that somebody says that helps make it better. And in Kim's story, she gave me permission to let go of my pain. And I want to thank you. Because her words were, stop carrying your pain like it's a badge of honor. And sometimes we do that and we don't let go. And when you said that, it just so freed me. And I want to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Cousin Deb! So this is my cousin Deb. I call her the matriarch of the cousins. She's really not, but she is because she's that matriarch of the cousins that gets things done. If it wasn't for her, I don't feel I would have had that time with my grandmother.
You know what? Because
you called
my cousin over there and the aunt over there, I can't see.
But she's the matriarch of the cousins, and literally her and I would be considered like the yin and yang of getting things done. And it's like, call Cousin Deb and Donnie, but don't call Cousin Deb. Thank you for taking me to my appointments. Even when I could tell her energy was like, this girl needs surgery. I don't know why she's being hard-headed. This girl knows she needs surgery. But thank you for supporting me, even though I love you. And this is my Auntie Bill. Who can't stand too long. So I'm gonna get my hug and I'm gonna let her sit back down. Who is my grandfather's sister, the matriarch of the family. Also my Aunt Dolly, my oldest living aunt, who taught me everything, not unknowingly, about hair. Right, so she is Miss Auntie Bill of, what was the name of your show? Upper Room. And if you remember, I used to go and get my, which way is my hair going? I used to go and the Jerry curl, right? And the booster. And you would have to sit under the dryer and fry and get burned up. But every Saturday she did our hair. But mainly, I just watched her run her business. And she was such amazing to me because I would sit under the dryer and I'd be like, my aunt is amazing watching her run this business. And then when I got into the business, I don't know if you remember me calling you. I was working sun up to sundown, 5 days a week, long hours, getting out. And I said, Auntie, how do you work 3 days and make money? She said, baby, you get it. And I got it. And I thank you. Come on, Miss Kia. Miss Lakia Daniels. Wait, look at her, y'all.
Like all this?
Lakia and I we became sisters first as clients, customer-client relationship. And Lakia, I want to thank you for putting nutrition in my body and so many other things. But during this time of healing, Kia came not knowing. Kia came not knowing, and in my kitchen blending up greens and fruits, and the blender wouldn't work, and even though she got a little frustrated, she was like, what do I need to put in this blender? And I just want to thank you for making sure that I got my nutrition, even not knowing. And she's like another one of my friends that you can't always tell them right away because they be ready to fight. But I want to thank you. Even Ceylon. This is Dr. Ceylon Cicero, but I know she don't like that title today. Naturopath. So she's a black naturopath, and you work out of West Hartford. Yes. And so for me, it was important to have healing energy around me at all times. And she didn't know, and we went out for drinks, and every time I would call her, if she could, I think it was maybe like 1 or 2 times, the kids got in the way, but every time I would call her, she would say, come on girl, let's go. Not knowing, and I just want to thank you for being that positive, loving energy, even though you didn't know, but then you found out we were good still. Thank you. And Val, I'm going to come back to. Val, I'm going to come back. Okay. Anthony! So Anthony and I also went to high school together. He's amazing in so many ways, but every void must be filled. Every void must be filled. And for me, it was important to make sure I kept loving male energy around me. And when I called Anthony, he was like, whatever you need. And it's so comforting to hear that when you don't have your back there, and you can't tell your brothers, because your brothers don't know how to shoot people and not go to jail. But literally, I called Anthony because I knew Anthony would get it in a way that it would be handled accordingly. And so I want to thank you for being there. Appreciate you. My rah-rah. So I called Anthony because I couldn't call rah-rah. Come on, Shree. She really got it. She was like, why didn't you call me? I said, well, when I called Anthony, I figured he would tell you. And she was like, well, I'm not happy about it. I said, no, that's why I called. And I said to her, where he at? Right. I said, I didn't call you because I didn't want you to hurt yourself. She said, I wasn't worried about me. And you have these friends that are so protective and so loving and so just there, no matter what. Again, I don't have friendships that I talk to every day, but my friendships, when I talk to you, it's like nothing has never missed a beat. And I want to thank you for Big Papa. Come on, Big Papa. Big Papa flavor. Marvin in the house, y'all. Marvin doesn't know it, but he keeps me laughing. And one of the things that, for me, for healing, laughter is good for the soul. Yes. Laughter is good for the soul. And so I was very selective selecting people around me that would keep me laughing. And Marvin just says some of the just off the wall, out of nowhere, crazy stuff that you just have to laugh about it. And even though he didn't know that he was nourishing me and that he was filling me up and that he was just being a fulfillment to my soul, and also helping us get the word out about health and natural healing, I appreciate you. I appreciate you and I love you. Johnson and Johnson, y'all. I have so many stories, but Tasha, I want to thank you. You never know what a person is going through. And this girl right here, in the midst of my chaos, was having her own chaos. And I didn't know it. And so I called her and I said, hey, I thought I would see you by now. And she just bust out in tears because she didn't tell me her own chaos. And then when she shared with me her own chaos, of course I felt like selfish. And then she was like, I'll be there Friday. I was like, you're not allowed at my house. And she had so much more happening in her, but she still came. And I want to thank you that even in the midst of your chaos, that you came and you were there for me, and I appreciate you. Arisha Coombs, y'all. AKA Riri. This, oh my God, this woman right here is just a reflection of strength to me. A reflection of strength. And she has such a huge heart. I mean, if you know Riri, I mean, the kids she takes in, I couldn't do it. I mean, she's just a ball of love. You know, she's, what's the word I'm looking for? When you don't, Stop, crazy? that too, but no, what's the word I'm looking for? Unconditional. She's unconditional. And I thank you for your unconditional love and your friendship. And She brought me a gift, y'all. Can I show these? No, the gift. But she said, girl, don't you know how to do the chicken wing? And I said, what's the chicken? So the chicken wing is when you take somebody by their hands and you put them back in the chicken wing. But if you don't know how to do the chicken wing, I got a little gift for you. And she brought me my defense kit. I know. And she said, this will never happen to you again.
All right now.
Zap a little later.
Right. I just hope I don't zap myself with that.
That for you already. Yeah. I told you don't touch it. I thought it was a flashlight. Natural consequences.
John Crooms, again, every void must be filled. We don't have, well, let me say this. I've never believed there are no good men out there. I've never believed that. But there's not a lot.
Right.
And so, for me, it's important to keep those connections with great men. And John, you know I love you. John was that example to me. He broke his leg, but he didn't have a choice when he woke up. When he woke up, they had already done surgery on you, right? But his journey of healing was just so positive and so happy. I've never seen anyone just go through a healing process like that. And we came up with a thing that said we must keep dancing. And John shared his story for me because he has an amazing story. And then when my leg was down, I called back on the spirit of John. He doesn't know that this is your first time hearing it, but I really did call back on the spirit of John. And I remember you doing those push-ups and your amazing wife, my girlfriend, having your back and your support, and just you two together was just such a cheerleading, you can do it, you got this for me. And I just want to say it's important sometimes to share your story because you never know who or when it's going to help somebody. You can hear the quiver in my voice, you know, so this is scary for me, but it's necessary for me. Because I said I want to be able to share my story because a lot of times we think, oh, we got it all figured out. You know, I own a business, I got a career, I got everyone thinks Dondi has it together. And I'm going to tell you, Dondi does not have it together. I'm learning me, I'm rediscovering me, and all of you in the room are a piece of a puzzle of me. And I just want to thank you because I've never seen no one go through healing the way you've gone through healing. I love you.
Thank you very much.
Look at her smile, y'all. Right? How could you not want to be around this smile? Right? I want to thank you because I didn't tell Winnie right away either. But when I called her and I said, come on, let's go do an ice cream run. She was like, okay. Anytime I called Winnie and said, now I know I should be eating ice cream. Right. And every time we got there, I either had a headache or I was sleepy. And she said, Dondi, we not coming back. I said, Winnie, please remind me we got to go. And we would literally go back for ice cream. Right. And it's the little things, the little things, the little things, the little things. You have to raise your frequency and vibration. You have to do things that make you happy. And even though the aftermath of the ice cream had an effect on my body, just the thought of eating ice cream with you was just...
When I say something, I know I'm not doing the right thing, but this lady has helped me. So she listened to me. I just went in for a hair appointment and I came out just with a whole new perspective on how I should live my life. So don't you think that you don't bring something to everybody that you share your life with? Yeah.
You want to sit? I'm going to go. Keisha Tyndale. This sister right here, first of all, helped me to keep my routine. Meaning, it's the first time I was in a little scooter, y'all. And I want to thank you for making sure I have food in my house when I couldn't go shopping for myself because I couldn't carry my groceries. And I was used to shopping at BJ's, and it would have taken me forever to go and pick up one thing and carry it back in the bag that Kim Cannon brought for me, my satchel that I carried everywhere because that was the only way I could carry things in the bag that Kim made me. And Keisha would come anytime I called her on a Sunday. We'd go to BJ's, I'd be in that little buggy, she took pictures of it, and we'd laugh way through the BJ's. And she put the stuff in the bag, and food is important. And I just want to thank you for being there, making sure I have the food. For Lakia the Glenn. I appreciate you so much. And I also got to say, she introduced me to my first crystals. She's going to share a little bit about that later. But I didn't know about the healing benefits of crystals. And she came to my house and she brought me my first rose quartz crystal. And I didn't know what was in this thing, but you want to talk about a cleansing? I just bawled the minute I opened this crystal. It was a heart rose quartz crystal. And then she brought me amethyst. And I started to learn about the healing powers of crystals, and I'm going to have her share later about the crystals, but I want to thank you. Carrie's going to share a little bit as well. Carrie and I first met at Essential Health at a health event. And this woman has just like an amazing energy, an amazing energetic pull. We never spoke the first time we met, but I just kept feeling this pull to the right corner of the room. During the healing journey, I remembered Carrie, and for a couple of reasons. One, I'm driving home, and I could feel Carrie. If any of you have that spiritual connection, then you understand what that means. And I was coming up exit 37, and I was taking a ride onto Bloomfield Avenue, and it was just like love and light Carrie. And I had to call her immediately and tell her thank you, because I could feel her prayers for my healing, for me, for love, and for light. And in addition to that, I had, I didn't know it was called Reiki until yesterday.
That's just one form of that, but I'll talk about a few.
Okay, okay. So I started to learn about energy healing and energy. And I want to thank Carrie for your prayers, for introducing yourself to me, even though I didn't know you were introducing yourself to me spiritually. Yeah. Thank you so much. I love you too. Miss Marilyn. Miss Marilyn, oh my goodness. Marilyn is what I call my bow. She's like the magic on top, the sprinkles, the cherry, the thing that just makes everything beautiful, right? And so we're in the business together, and in our business, there's personality types, right? And Marilyn and I would be considered opposite personality types, but we need each other. I need Marilyn because she has all of those special touches that just make a person feel special. And she came to my house with the lilac. It was a lilac. What was it?
The lotus flowers?
The lotus flower. So let me say this too. As I'm growing in my spiritual world, the language is still like babyish to me, so just excuse me if I say some things wrong. But it was a lotus flower. And then also I did essential oils for healing. And one of the things everyone kept asking me was, is your leg itching yet? Is your leg itching yet? Is your leg itching yet? And Marilyn not only is still teaching me about the essential oils, but came all the way over and brought me the fruits and veggies too that the kid blended up. But lavender oil. And when everyone was asking me, was my leg itching yet? It was the lavender oil that I would put on every day that would help. I never had itching. Honestly, I never had itching, but the way they described it, I never want to go through that. And I just want to thank you for taking time out of your life, out of your day, several days, but just that particular one we're going to talk about, and making sure that I was healed and healing. Thank you. Gerald DeBerry. He's another every void must be filled, every void must be filled, every void must be filled. Good male energy is so important. And I want to thank Gerald because he was there every step of the way, without question. And night and day, night and day. And this man does a lot. He does a lot. And it's weird to most people that you can have a love and appreciation for someone that you're not in a relationship with intimately. But I said to Gerald when he was at my house, this is the most intimate that I've ever been with him and anyone really, because it wasn't physical, it was all spiritual and emotional. And I just want to thank you because you never questioned. You never questioned. He never made me feel uncomfortable about what I was going through. He never judged. You never did anything that typical people do. And I want to thank you for not being typical. Love you. Please, come on, girl. My Carly. So, Carly really is my caregiver through it all. This woman works at night. She took time off of work to come and make sure I was straight throughout the night. She was there first thing in the morning.
Are you at work?
Sorry, I'm trying to cuss.
That's that Keisha.
I can't talk right now.
Okay, bye.
We're not gonna go over my birthday party, Keisha. She was there every morning. To change my bedding. Because I couldn't stand on my own to even do that. I didn't have anyone to make sure I was sanitary after that. And this woman, without a blink of an eye, come on, get up, come on. Every morning. And there's nothing I could do to repay you. Nothing. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much. Because here's the other thing. Good times show you your enemies. Bad times show you your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of it all, who you thought would be there, but God always sends angels, and every last one of you in this room is my angel. Because everyone says what they would do. Oh, girl, just call me if I had known, if you need, da 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 da. And I'm going to say this. Y'all know me, and Carlise said this to me. Oh, yeah, Donnie, you put out a 911 call every day. You needy. you always asking people for help, right? And I said this, I put out a help call. And there were friends that said, I'm busy. You busy? And when I sent it out and I said, I need a care plan, 14 days. I'm calling on my girls. I need a care plan for 14 days. And there was some that said, I'm busy. And I said, for 14 days? You busy all 14 days? And I only asked for an hour. Out of 14 days, can you help me for 1 hour? You could pick any day. You don't work 7 days a week. You know? And this girl literally, along with Miss Adrian, who's not here, and Gerald, really absorbed the 24 hours in the day, pretty much, between these three. And then, of course, you all came and filled in the gaps, and I'm so appreciative. But Carlise and Adrian, I would have never thought the friends that I call friends would not have been there the way Carlise and Miss Adrian was. And girl, I'm gonna tell you, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I love you. I appreciate you. And I've known her the shortest amount of time as everybody. Did I go to Papa C yet? I did go to Papa C. But I wanted to, I didn't go to Papa C. You stepped out the room. Come on, Papa C. You don't want to get up. This is my tribal dad. He grew me up. Me and Yolanda, one of my best friends, he taught us so much. He taught us so much. And I couldn't call Papa C. I didn't tell him right away. Because Papa C is old school. And he's like, man business, man handle man business, you know? And he reminds me of my two uncles, Al and Jerome. You know, they shoot first and don't ask questions later. And then they just come walking out the woods saying, I don't know the baby. And when I called Papa C, I said, I know. I said, let me explain. Let me explain. He said, what the? He said, and I said to him, Papa C, I couldn't tell you because I was protecting you. And I know, and he said, thank you. And I just want to thank you because immediately he brought me over this big box of fruits and veggies that Lakia blended. He said, I'll be over there today. And I want to thank you. Love you. I got to come back to the Bryants. Mama Bryant and B. These two, for me, I just have to speak my spirit. These two are my elderly, wise guys. You know, I've heard about elders and I've heard about the wise men coming to teach the village. And these two are a reflection to me of the wise men and the elders coming to teach the village, which is me. And I want to thank Mama Bryant because, one, she's so cute. She's so cute and innocent, and she allows me to feel important and needed when I'm helping her with her phone.
For a half-hour haircut, we're there for an hour and a half.
If y'all know me and my schedule is really, she gets a 3-hour appointment for a 20-minute service. Because I already know we going in. And I want to thank you. We have backyard fish.
Oh, yeah.
I want to just thank you for just being that love and that light to me, for me, always opening up your door to me. And I can't wait till our next appointment. B, you standing, you sitting. So B is everything to everybody. Key, right? I didn't like Brian at first because Brian was the first person. I was in the 20s. Brian was the first person when I started working that I could feel read me. And he would sit across the room, so our stations were here, and Brian would sit where Val was sitting. And he would just, it was like a spiritual antenna, like he connected to me and he just download and read. And I could feel it from my station. I was like, what is this? And he would never say anything. Okay, I'm out, see y'all later. And he'd come back and he'd have a seat and he'd just download. And then, and I was like, oh. Like, and then it wasn't until I got my own place. It was like he was slowly reading me to see if he could reveal himself to me, if I was ready. And little by little, he would pick little times where he would plant a seed or say something. And I remember one day he said to me, I was taking a math class, and I love math. And there was a new formula that Brian was trying to share with me. But I was so used to the classroom that he was trying to open my mind to tell me everything you know doesn't have to come out of white people's mouths. And that's no offense to anyone in the room. But it was true because my education had always been that if it's not coming from the classroom or the way I've been taught, then it's not right. It wasn't until, I guess, I got a shot that I started to like Brian, because we had a session and he started to download into me. You remember that day? I fell asleep. Because when your mind is not open to receiving certain energies and information, it's like a glitch in the system.
Yep.
And so I fell asleep, and when I woke up, Brian's eyeballs were on me. He said, "You okay? You ready now?" And he's still working with me. For my leg, when my leg was fractured, Brian taught me about what I interpret as strings. And he said, the cells know what to do. And he said to me, don't veer away from spirit. You have to listen to your spirit. You can help me out if I, because I feel like spiritually I'm still talking like a baby, and I want to make sure it makes sense to everyone. He said, don't veer from spirit. The cells already know what to do. There's strings there where everything is still connected. You just can't see it. And if you do what you're supposed to do, they're all going to come together. So July 7th, I had my x-ray appointment. And the doctors have said, your leg's healing perfectly. The doctor now says, I think you made the right decision not to have surgery. Wow. But they didn't want to tell me that I made the right decision not to have surgery. And then the doctor says, I see in whatever medical term he used, where the fracture is coming back together and healing. And had Brian not informed me ahead of time, I would not have known what that meant. Brian had told me that they were there, the naked eye can't see them. And then the doctor had confirmed that now they have formed in a way that the naked eye can see them and that the fracture is healing. You want to clear that up?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is when a bone breaks, there's still cells like jelly or something that drifts, but it doesn't break. It's still there. And those cells have a memory of how the bone is supposed to go together. And if you bring them, when you set the bone, you're setting them in a general proximity so that those cells can then go to work. And what they do is they produce a lot of calcium, and they put a big knot over the place that's broken. And like you're doing a sculpture, you slap a lot of clay together. And then over time, because they have that intelligence, they start carving away, shaping the bone, and so forth and so on. But my point to her was, you can't allow your faith in your ignorance to get in the way of what it's going to do. You can't allow the fact that you're not sure, and not the fact that you're not sure, you can't assume that it will not have an effect on what is happening, because everything is intelligence and everything is energy. So if you don't know, get out of the way so you can learn what happened. It's just beyond you. We don't know more things than we think we know. And the things we do know, most of that we don't understand. Okay, so your emotion is energy. That energy can interfere with the process. It can enhance the process. Okay, so get out of the way. Stop listening to people giving you your opinion about what you want to believe. Nobody knows your truth. Everybody is individual. Everybody is designed to work in a certain kind of way. And you can either have faith in yourself and your creator, or faith in somebody's opinion about your creator. It's your choice.
Yes, yes.
And that was powerful to me, because there was a day I was told by somebody else's professional opinion that I should have surgery, because if I didn't, I was going to have a short leg walk. And that vision of a short leg walk, to me, I'm sorry, I just think I'm too sexy for that.
Yes.
And so, which is why I have my jeans on and my little half shirt. And later we found out that the x-ray that the person was basing his opinion on wasn't a complete picture. And when I called Brian, he said, oh, so we can get you off the ledge now. Because I went back to bed. I talked to Marilyn that day. I was done. I was distraught because of somebody else's opinion who didn't have the full picture. And when I called Brian, he said, basically, don't do that no more. Stop listening to people's opinion. Like, they want to bully your body to do something that the cells are already designed to do by just going in there, cutting you open, sticking a rod in there, just forcing it abrasively to go into healing. You can't force healing. Like this, it's already there, is what he was sharing with me as far as the cells go. And everything has a timing. And when Brian said to me, oh, so they don't even have the full picture. When he said they don't have the full picture, and to stop listening to other people's opinions, and then went back into explaining about the intelligence and the energy, it was like magic. And I just want to thank you for always bringing me back to grounding and sanity. And another thing Brian shared with me that really hit home, when walking your spiritual truth is a choice. And Brian said to me, Dondi, you can't live in both worlds.
Right.
You're going to have to choose. And I wanted to share this because that goes for all of us. You know, we have to stand in our truth, and we have to connect with our Creator. You know, and I just want to thank you for he always feels when I'm, you know, about to jump off into the daisies. he'll call me, hey, girl. And I just want to thank you.
Let me just say this one thing, because I think I heard this on a video the other day, and it says, and this lady said, a person who's living their divine purpose cannot hear the voice of anybody else. And that's it. If you're listening to other people, you're not on your path.
That's right.
You can't talk about how you love your elders and worship your ancestors and all of this kind of stuff when you're listening to Tom, Dick, and Harry and trying to find somebody that'll tell you what you want to hear and all this other kind of stuff. You've abandoned your ancestral line. Okay? You're disgracing your ancestral line. You're disrespecting the divinity of your creation. And it's just pure and simple as that.
Thank you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got Stan. Okay. All right, Val.
Oh,
Where are we
God,
on time?
that one.
12:15? Come baby. Perfect time. The land of Sandville.
Yes, yes.
Come on up, baby. So she introduced herself earlier. Don't say bad stuff. No, there's no bad stuff. There's no bad stuff. I want to thank you for being brave, for being strong. One second, y'all.
Oh, baby.
Val has been a bridge and a gap for me in this healing process in so many ways. I'm gonna keep those private, but I do wanna thank you for protecting me from myself. I see it, I see it. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to sit down.
Woo! Everyone take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Oh my goodness. All this healing going on already. Oh my goodness. And I'm a big crybaby.
I'm with you, Val.
Keisha.
Oh! Keisha, I'm sorry. We got film?
I told you, no, you said don't worry about girl. You say
I'm gonna bring Keisha Center. Come on, Keisha. Might as well.
Go ahead, Keisha. Pull my back.
Grandma. Somebody look at Grandma. Oh my God. I did not forget Keisha. I have passed Keisha and then she was behind me. So thank you, Gerald, for bringing me back to Keisha. Keisha, so many stories, but during this healing process, I want to really thank you because friends go up and down. We have our challenges, our turmoils, but when you have true friendship, there's nothing that stops or changes that. And can I tell a story? So, I had got mad at Keisha on my birthday. Because I love Tina Turner. No, it's Shaka Khan and Michael McDonald. And I had 2 tickets. We had 2 tickets that rolled out the red carpet. And my birthday got ruined, and it was no fault of my own. And I was mad at Keisha for a very, very, very long time. But I heard Keisha got hurt. And some things are just so trivial and unimportant in this whole scope of life that we have. And I thank her because when I called her, she didn't push me away. She didn't need help, but she took my phone call every day when I checked on her to see if she needed anything. She wasn't, like, girl, I remember what you did to me on your birthday. Because and I want to apologize to you for that. And I want to apologize to you for that. And so, from there, when I got her, Keisha called me. And she said, what do you need? I'll be there. And she came stumbling in the house with the water, chips. So yeah, everything.
I know she was.
And if you notice, Keisha's energy is Keisha's energy. Keisha come in the room, it's gonna be some stuff that's gonna happen. But I love my Keisha. I thank you for being there. I appreciate you. Thank you, baby.
Oh.
Yes. Thank you, Gerald.
Yes.
I am because I was trying to be sexy. You can't be sexy and sit down with a half shirt and okay. Val, we ready?
Oh, yes. Sorry. All right, so next we are going to have Marilyn talk about the healing powers of essential oils. Yeah?
No, you can.
No, you
Wherever
can
you're
stand right
comfortable.
here.
Yeah, wherever you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Marilyn Strudwick, and oh my gosh, Danielle, this was so like heart-wrenching just to hear you speaking with everybody and how everything has contributed to your healing process. This is so beautiful. I'm just honored to be a part of it. Thank you for including me. And Danielle has been an amazing inspiration to me since I've known her, and you spoke me into your life, really, because that day that we met, when we met, it was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. She said, well, the second time that I went to your event, I dreamt that we were going to be working together. And nobody had ever said that to me before, and I was like, who is this woman telling me that she dreamt about us working together? I thought that was interesting, but I wasn't really sure, and here we are almost 2 years later, and it's been an incredible journey. I've learned so much from you. I started with essential oils 8 years ago because of my kids. I have 2 boys, and that was just my journey, looking for something outside of mainstream medical information they were just giving me, and I knew there had to be more, I just didn't know what. So that got me on that journey, which then brought me to a whole level of just changing the way I lived. So, you know, the toxins that we use in our home every day really affect brain health, and brain health was huge, because it's not just the kids. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I've got my own short-term memory issues, my husband, it's pretty much, you know, the whole family. But what a difference when you start eliminating those toxins little by little. You start making your own things. You use plant-based medicine, and essential oils have been an integral part of that journey for us. And today I can say that I feel better in my 50s than I ever did in my 30s. Amen. And it's not just the oils, it's the food, it's your mindset, it's, you know, everything all together, right? But the oils really helped us to just find an alternative to what we always had in our medicine cabinet. So we were able to transition our medicine cabinet. Oh, here we go, thank you. Yeah, we were able to transition our medicine cabinet to an all-natural version, and Danielle was able to use, I don't even remember what they were, 5 oils, I believe, 4 or 5 oils that she applied over her leg, And it's just so powerful because the oils work at the cellular level. And so they get into the body, they get into the cells, and they just help to support the body in that healing process. It's not like it cures you, but it just helps to support the body. And so consistent use of the oils, it really is plant-based healthcare. Plant-based medicine is what it is. So in the gift bag, she's included her own recipe that she used for her healing process. And all of the oils are in here undiluted, so each one of you can add your own coconut oil or almond oil or jojoba oil to fill up the rest of the bottle, just to dilute it. You don't want to use it straight from here because you do want to have it diluted. And then use this for whatever it is that you need, that, you know, you've got some pain going on, you've got some healing that needs to happen. This is a great, great blend and a great recipe to use. So, in that journey, along with all the other modalities that she used, if you've never considered essential oils, definitely chat with Danielle about it. We use it every day for just the everyday stuff that comes up. As I said, it works at the cellular level, doesn't have any addictions, doesn't have any side effects, and it's just simple. And you have it right there in your home. You know, you reduce your doctor visits. I know once I got started, our doctor visits were reduced by about 90%, because all those things that I thought I needed to go to the doctor for, I was able to take care of at home. My kids now use them every day. My husband is a huge, took him a minute to get into it, but when he finally came around, he's using them all the time, and this is what we use for our medicine, basically. So I'm grateful to have this, and grateful that it brought me you.
Yeah, thank you. My main thing is no one knows about natural healing. All they know is surgery, radiation, pharmaceutical drugs, and I wanted to find ways, like there was a way before all of this. And so I wanted to just share with my tribe alternatives that you don't have to have these abrasive ways of healing. So I've rubbed my leg down with this blend that I'm sharing every day. And also just the motion of the healing hand, if that makes sense?
Yes.
So, thank you.
When you massage, you're circulating, you're adding that, the blood flow, increasing that oxygen in there. It's all good, yeah.
Thank you, Marilyn. So now, who here is familiar with magnetic jewelry? Hey, how are you? So I'm going to read a little bit about magnetic jewelry, and then
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, magnets have been used in alternative medicine for conditioning ranging from systemic illness to joint pain. Similarly, some have proposed to use the magnets to help heal bone fractures. The idea is that magnets might improve circulation and increase blood flow, and thus the delivery of nutrients to the fractured bone. And you use those on your leg, right?
Yeah, so another thing I wanted to share is I use magnet energy. And again, because I'm a baby and transitioning to growing my spiritual life, I was very obedient to what came to me. And it was just something about put the magnets on your leg that was a strong message. And then when I looked up about magnets and healing is when I found that there's actually a thing about magnets and healing. And then I remember my grandmother wearing these copper magnetic bracelets. And then I was like, wow, there's just something to this that we've lost and forgotten, but it's still in us, you know? And so I just drew to making sure that I had the magnets on. Then also there's, so when Val was talking about the jewelry, you can make them pretty, but the main thing is the source of that energy. And the source of that energy is magnets, whether it's in jewelry form or not. I do have some jewelry that's in magnet form. It's first come, first served. They're free gifts. They're over there on the table. There's some necklaces, there's some earrings, there's just some pendants, or just some stones that you can help yourself to just start introducing that magnetic energy in your life. Because the other thing I learned too is that we're energetic, magnetic beings, right? And so I started learning about that as well. So I did use the magnets, so there's magnets there, which then kind of moved into energy. Wow.
Absolutely. And just a little bit about the jewelry, it's interchangeable, so you can change the stones out in the earrings as well as in the necklaces, so just an FYI. And so moving on, I am going to introduce Carrie, and she's going to talk a little bit about healing power and channeling sound and energy.
So, okay, this is all speaking my language. And for a long time, I lived in a world where I was deemed as kind of like crazy. What are you talking about? You know, spirit, connection, everything is science. And it started to make me feel like, I was heading in the wrong direction. But there was something else that spoke to me. And so I moved in this direction anyway. Sometimes we have a phoenix rising to get us back to where we are. And Dondi's going through her phoenix rising. Mine came in 2004 when I lost a child. And people would say, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry. I said, you know what? It sucked. But it brought me back to who I had to be. Because I stepped away from that. And sorry, I'm like Val. I like cry a lot. What I've been able to do is just channel what truth is. And truth is nothing more than the universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes you comfortable calling it. It's just us getting back in touch with that. Because we are all one with that universal energy. And that knowledge and that wisdom is there for us to channel. And it resonates at certain vibrational frequencies. So they say we come into this life at a certain vibrational sound frequency, and we will leave with that certain vibrational sound frequency. Our cells all vibrate at that. We know that we have energy centers in our body that vibrate. Our first chakra, which is our grounding and rooting chakra, vibrates differently than that with our crown chakra. It gets higher as we go. It gets a higher, faster vibrational frequency. If something's off, I don't know if y'all have heard of like Tibetan bowls, crystal bowl energy, we can reset through that. In fact, cats purr. I don't know if y'all are cat people, I love animals, right? But cats purr, and we find out cats don't just purr when they're happy, they purr when they're sick too. And so people start to think, why are they purring when they're sick? It's because their purrs when they're sick are different vibrational frequency than when they're healthy, right? So that love, happiness is a different vibrational frequency. It brings us up. So my truth is that anything outside of love and light is erroneous, right? We came in with love and light and that vibrational frequency, and sometimes we just, life throws us some curveballs, and we have certain thought processes around that. It's stuck in our body, and we start to see those things as real, and we start to think those things as belief. Like as Nandi was like, I'm not gonna walk like this. And thank God you were there to take her out of that, because this whole process, she was grateful for it. When Dondi said she was grateful for this process, and I remember Marilyn was like, give Dondi space, and I'm like, oh God, give Dondi space. I'm like, this is my thing, I have to send healing. When she knew and she could feel my vibrational frequency that I was sending out to her to reestablish her connection with Source, I'm not kidding, my jaw hit the ground. I was like, oh my God, she could feel that. That's amazing, because I'm so used to people going, I don't know what you're talking about. But people like Dondi and every single person in this room, it really makes life worthwhile. Like, you have an amazing tribe. Most people have like 5 or 6 people they'll let in. And I know not everybody is here today. This speaks volumes to who Dondi is. And when I worked with her in healing, we talk about, like, we resonated with everybody who's close in my life. It's never a coincidence. We do not have coincidences. So what Dondi went through was to bring her back to her inner self, and she knew that. And she could harbor hate against that, or she could harbor love. And which one do you think is going to heal you? It's not going to be the hate.
Right.
It's not going to be the hate. We don't need more hate in this world. We need more love. And we need to get back to source. And that's what energy medicine is about, because every single cell has a memory in it. Our DNA has a memory in it. And when you talk about ancestors, that is so absolutely true, because we carry their memories.
Yes.
We carry their memories. And so when we don't think about everything they've been to get us here today, we are the sum total of everyone who came before us. And it's part of that global consciousness. So energy work is about reconnecting to your intuitiveness. Your intuitiveness is just listening to source. And Donovan, a couple of times you used the phrase chaos, right? And we know that this universe, when it's working with source, when it's working with spirit, when it's working with that God energy, that balance of male and female, we cannot forget the males, because female is nothing without male and male is nothing without female. That is the magnetic thing. Nothing would exist in this world without magnetism. Right? It's that yin and that yang, and we have each of us inside of each piece. So, so the thing about the order from chaos, this universe seeks to create order from chaos. You know, when stars explode, it's just information to be able to coagulate and create something from. So we are the existence of the universe itself. And when we walk away from that and we get caught into disinformation, misinformation, somebody telling us who we are and what to believe, we walk so far away from ourselves. And unfortunately, sometimes that means we need to go through Phoenix Rising to remember ourselves. Mine was losing a child, but she walks with me every single day through this. She is with me always. And so her name was Maya. And Maya is, I found out afterwards, all the different meanings of her name in different cultures. One is, it's the panther. It is the panther that every single day when the sun, this is in the Huichol shamanistic tradition, when the sun rises, the panther shows the sun where to go. It shows its path, like she showed me my path. There are no coincidences in this world. When I found out that Maya was Buddha's mom, Maya is the veil of illusion. I named her after Maya Angelou after I sat in a room and experienced her presence. And I was like, my God, this woman's amazing what she took. And I had no idea the full meaning of her name. And again, I found out after, but she just came to me in spiritual form and said, my name can't be anything but. It's like, okay. So when we lift that Maya, when we lift that veil of illusion, then we can see the truth again. Then we get to see the truth that every single person is connected. Doesn't matter if we're here, if we're 3,000 miles away, if we're 10,000 miles away. What's happening on the other side of the world impacts us, because energy is shared and it's exchanged. Right? It's exchanged throughout the universe, throughout the multiverses, and science, when medical doctors try to tell you, you're doing it wrong, this is what science is. Science is just a human's small concept of trying to understand what source has already given us, what's already there. Our quickest way to it is intuition, clearing past everything. So that's what energy work is. There's so many different names to energy work. I was trained first in Reiki. I became a Reiki master, and that's what you asked. Reiki works on Tibetan symbols of healing, and it was rediscovered in the 1800s by Mikao Usui. And he brought it to Japan, and then he brought it to the world. So that was my gateway training into it. After that, I went further and further and further. So there's a lot of Eastern philosophies, there's a lot of shamanic philosophies, and all of it is correct. All of it's correct. It's just each culture has its own way of speaking about it, but it's all over the world and throughout time. It's what our ancestors gave us, so why are we walking away from that? It's all right here. The essential oils, which I love so much, they have a resonance with us, right? That's something synthetic could never give us. That's something implanted in your leg could never give us. And Gandhi discovered that. And we discovered each other at the right exact time. So I say there's no coincidences, because everybody close to my heart, as soon as I saw them, I knew that I knew them before. And we discovered that in healing, where Gandhi and I had known each other in past lives. There's a DNA memory that stays with us forever, and I remember saying to her in the past life, I will find you when you needed me. And then all of a sudden we collided shortly before this. And I'm incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly grateful that you are expanding your heart, that you're coming back into your knowing and your being, and you are operating now at a different vibrational frequency than you ever did before.
Carrie was similar to Brian, but not the same, because I didn't like Brian at first. But Carrie was that person like, who is this girl and why is she pulling me? You know, and then later in our session, she revealed some things that's helping me. And I would say to anyone, if you have any energetic blockages or anything that you think you need clarity on, I would recommend Carrie. I've had other sessions that just did not resonate with me. And I'll just share, when I went through all of this, I pushed a lot of my pain to the back, what I call to the back. And I felt like I had this pulling in the back of my heart. And I didn't tell Carrie about it. I just said, do you know anything about energetic, what did I call it? Energetic cords.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah. And I said, I got a cord I need cut, is what I said. Because I don't really, I'm still learning the language. And later we learned not to cut them, but to
Send them back with love.
and when I did my session with her, I still didn't tell her where I was feeling it. She said, oh yeah, I see it. She said, you have a cord in the back of your heart. And I was blown away. And then when she started to do work, you know, as a kid, you're taught your heart is center, right? So, you know, and I started doing this cupping thing. But I was like, why do I feel this release, like literally coming out here? And then I said, oh shoot, the heart is over here. And so I was physically thinking here for heart, but I was really still releasing that energy because the heart is here and it was really leaving from the back of my heart. And I just want to thank you.
Wow. And so now Dondi is going to share.
Oh, Keisha.
Oh, Keisha.
Already?
Yes.
You're on, Keisha. You said that was fast.
Yes. Oh. Marilyn, you have that oil? Because I don't think that was oil.
Oh, wait, I put it back in the bag.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay, cool. Sorry.
It's okay. So I'm Keisha Tyndall. Dondi asked me to speak about the crystals that I gave her. So I took some notes. I'm literally just starting out with crystals, so I'm not a crystal expert at all. But I started using crystals for my own healing. And then when you and I talked, and I came out to your house and brought you a heart rose quartz. So the first crystal that I got you was a rose quartz. Now, rose quartz is a stone of love, and I feel like you're a representation of that. So that's one of the reasons I gave you that particular stone. Rose quartz also helps in the healing journey because it provides deep inner healing, and it is also said to speed up the recovery process. The second crystal that I gave you, the bracelet that you have on, that white selenite, this one, right?
With my angel wings.
So I gave her that one. One, it's white, and we know Dondi loves white. So it's a calming stone, and it instills deep peace. It can also wash away impurities of the mind, like negative thoughts, negative memories. I think I was guided to those two particular stones mainly because they would help to, with not just your physical healing, but also your inner healing. So that's really the reason why you got those two particular stones.
Oh.
And I was also asked by Dondi to also present a couple of bracelets that I made to a few of her members of her tribe here. So I have some bracelets for you. The first one is Carolyn.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a rose quartz. Gerald. This is actually magnetic hematite. And on there, there's that if you kind of speaks to what it's about. You asked me if I could find magnetic hematite. I was a little concerned that I wouldn't be able to, but I did. So it's magnetic.
She is just amazing when you ask her to create, because like she said, she didn't know she was going to be able to find the magnetic, but we found you the magnetic.
They were hard to put together. They just kept skipping, and they were hard to put together. Carrie, nice to see them. Wait, so
So much.
Since you didn't know that they came in beans.
I didn't know that they came in beans.
Carlise.
Yes, you.
She look at her.
Thank you. That's the rose court.
Adrian.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you.
Rose Quartz. And Marilyn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Thanks, I'll put that.
And that's it for me.
So now we will have Ms. Don D.
So,
Donnie, can I say something?
yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm looking at what's going on here. And what we have, what we have here is a session of witchcraft. Now, witchcraft is a pejorative term created by men to characterize the deep spiritual understanding and power that women bring into the world.
Yes.
It's important that you understand that because the impact of the witchcraft consciousness essentially is boiled down to that you don't know that you know until you read about it. And because you don't know that you know until you read about it, the power that you have is not connected to you. Because before something can be written and before it can be spoken, it must be known. Now, this witchcraft thing is a really important thing to understand because it is insecurity and flaw in men about what true power is. And the fact that although you may be physically strong, and as men, we're universally less important because we naturally give ourselves up for the women and the children. There's a tendency to be jealous of not having that power. And because we don't have that power and we're jealous, we bring things into being in this society because the women and children are dependent to depress access to that power, to our own detriment. It's important that you understand that. Especially because you have this so-called witches' coven meeting here. There's nothing more than an understanding of the deep spiritual connection that each woman brings into the world as the path of life for the creation and manifestation of life. The woman is the supreme being in the world and proof in the flesh that creation is a woman. And you have to understand that it's one thing to be mad at men because they exercise physical power over you and you feel oppressed. Or you can get in touch with your divine sense use the fact that there's this opposition to measure the connection that you have to your divine self so you can exercise that which is your divine gift of birth. It's either one way or the other. You can complain about it or work over it. Now, I'm saying all of this because there's a video put out by PBS called Power, the Woman's Society. It's about a place in China. It's PBS. It's about 50 minutes, and it talks about this place in China where the natural area was such, it was isolated, and everything was provided for them, such that it was a matriarchal society run by women. There was no marriage. There was no husband. Women went off and had children. The children came back to the family. They were raised by the women, and the uncles were the fathers. And the reason why this was such is that the main reason for men, besides procreation, is to protect and provide. But because nature had provided everything and protected them, there was no need for the aggressive aspect of men to be manifest. And because there was no need for the aggressive aspect of men to be manifest, the women did not have to deal with that power in order to survive. This is a very important thing to understand here about who women are in their full potential. The relationship between men and women is such that even men have to be wise enough to recognize that they're here to serve the purpose of life. Women are a noun, men are adjectives. We got it twisted. We think the men is a noun and the woman's the adjective. And that's why everything is confused. So this power potential that you all have, you need to really invest in it individually, because the group power is only increased by individual power. A group of powerless people is a group of powerless people. Don't think that you're going to get together and find your power. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to get together with yourself and bring your power to the group. This is one of the main reasons why our societies are in such problem that we have today, because it is unbalanced. It's not a hard job or a real job. It's just a hard job or a bad job, easy job. It's just a real job. One of the things that I'm noticing here to help you give an indication of where you're vulnerable to this stigma of witchcraft is feeling you have to validate what you know by reading what somebody else said about it. Anything could have been said about the rose quartz. So now I'm going to ask you this question. How do you know what you read was true? Don't have anything come out of your mouth that you don't know is your truth. You're either speaking your truth or validating somebody else's lie. So the truth of the rose quartz in each individual application is the effect of the rose quartz in that application. You see? And you can then write that down and add to the litany of things that the Rose Quartz does, or because of your divine power, correct what's written. But you can't have it both ways. So I just want to say, you guys have something here. You really have something. And you should really mind that and invest in it. Because men saw it. Who knew about birth? You're trying to tell me that the first kids that were born needed a man to deliver? To tell the woman if it was a boy or a girl, to tell the woman if she should bring the birth to term. And if the woman is responsible for the nourishment of that child, you think that he knew about, the man had the idea of the deep insight into the power of herbs, vegetation, water, when he has no visceral connection to the child in the first place? So I'm just bringing these questions to you so that you guys can, for food for thought, so that you could go on and continue to grow. But if you don't grow, it's not because somebody's holding you back.
Thank you. So we are going to go to John D. with the prayer, healing prayer.
So we're gonna wrap it up and leave it at the house. In closing, I wanted to share my story short as far as what happened that day. There was a book that I used to read when I was 20 years old called Conversations with God. And I used to read this book, but I was trying to have, like Brian said, somebody else's conversation. And when you connect to yourself, it's a knowingness, and then you write that thing down.
Done. Excuse me. Woman's Kingdom, PBS.
Thank you. Thank you. And so I was trying to have somebody else's conversations with God through the book, Conversations with God. And I just want to share that we all have our own conversations with God, of course. And I want to share my conversation with God that night. So in your bag is my praying promise. And in my conversation with God, I made a promise in my prayers that night or that morning. And you can follow along, or it's already in your bag, you'll have it. And so my praying promise when I was having my conversation with God was, I promised to live and give love and light energy. I promise to live with purpose, led by spirit, and not easily swayed by man. I promise to forgive others as God and the ancestors have forgiven me. That night at 4 o'clock in the morning, like I just learned a new word, thank you, Carrie, Phoenix rising. I was body slammed and thrown to the ground, and physically male force broke my fracture leg. My aunt is looking at me crazy because this is her first time hearing the story. And so my leg was literally to the left of me. And so as I lay there, I want to share that there were many conversations with ancestors that told me it was time for this person to leave my home. And I ignored that direction, that protection, that guidance. I ignored that voice. And I'm going to tell you, so there's a place that I go for prayer and meditation, and I would hear it every time I would turn the corner through my bookshelf. And as I would turn the corner, I would hear it's time for him to leave. And I would just keep walking over to where I would do prayer and meditation. And literally about 4 times I heard, it's time for him to leave. And I didn't tell B in the beginning because I knew what B was going to say to me about ignoring ancestors. And so my conversation with God that day was, as I lay looking at my broken body, I humbly called on my Creator. And I said, my God, please fix me. And ancestors said, I can't read. Well, let me just tell the story because that is my story. The ancestor said, hello, my child, you've been disobedient. And I said, I know. I apologize for you. You've ignored our direction and our voice. I know. I apologize for you. As I lay there, I remember saying, what is it that you want me to do? And the voice that I heard was, show them me, show their truth, show them who I am. And I said, I will do that. And as I laid there, I remember saying that his direction is do not cut, do not burn, do not defile the temple. That means don't go in for surgery, don't go in for radiation, don't do any man-made synthetic pharmaceutical drugs, and ye are healed. So it wasn't anything that I had to do. It was everything that I needed to get out of my way to allow Source and God to show his greatness in the healing of my leg. And I did that. I know a lot of y'all thought I was crazy for it, but like Brian said, when you're connected to Source, you don't hear anyone else. You don't see anyone. You're just like, nope, 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 nope. And it got to a point where it was very clear to me, if I get on that table, I'm done. Whatever man said to do, I was not to do. And I was to come back into the perfect truth and perfect alignment and love of the ancestors that have me, that I belong to. And so that's my praying promise. I've decided that for me, everything is about spirit. And everything that I thought I knew is not what I know. And I'm opening up myself now to live by spirit. And so in that, there's a lot of shedding that happens, a lot of people that go to the wayside. But I'm trusting that those people that shed is part of me getting to where I'm supposed to be. And you release these people in love. And so I'm thankful to each and every one of y'all for being here, for being part of my journey. And we're going to do a closing prayer. Oh, so before we do the closing prayer, Miss Adrian's in the house. So you missed all your accolades.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This when I was speaking about the 2 people who were there day and night, who literally healed me physically, because spiritually I was already healed. But in the middle of the night, I kept hearing, eat the apple, drink the water. Eat the apple, drink the water. And so Miss Adrian was also one of those people that when I couldn't stand and I couldn't lift myself, I mean, they taught me a new level of respect for friendship, because they would come change that pan like they were just giving me a glass of water. I mean, they never frowned their face, nothing. And I'm going to tell you, when injury is leaving your body, there's a lot, excuse my language, there's a lot of shit that comes out. You know, when injuries leaving your body, and this woman right here, along with Carlise, I mean, needs to, I said, please don't put me in a nursing home. Just call Miss Adrian and Carlise. Don't put me, no, I don't want to go nowhere but to Miss Adrian and Carlise. And so I want to thank you. You know I love you. I appreciate you.
I just wanted to close with a loving kindness meditation for all of us to just breathe. And, you know, just want to thank you, Dondi, for your grace, also for your mercy, and just for you being a great pillar in the community. I know you don't like the light or anything like that, but I know that you do shine your light on a lot of people. I mean, this is just a little small, you know, number of people that you shine your light on, but even through the airwaves, even through your energy level, your frequency. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
So in closing, I just want us to take some breaths to really breathe it all in. So get comfortable, get relaxed. Just allow your arms to settle down. Gently rest by your sides. If you can soften or just softly gaze down to the floor. And just breathe in some deep breaths. We'll start with one breath in and one breath out. And as you breathe, keep in mind that you are taking one breath in and that you are taking one breath out. And so just allow your natural breathing to happen and just calm your body and your brain. Now I want you to take a deep breath into your heart center and see if you can generate feelings of warmth, of friendliness towards yourself. And I want you to breathe and infuse your body with nurturing feelings of love, acceptance, kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. And so I just want you to breathe that all in and allow the warmth and love to flood through your body. And just continue to breathe into your heart center. And now I want you to envision someone you have affectionate feelings towards. I want you to think of someone who makes you feel happy the moment you think of that person. And once you get a feeling of their long, loving presence, I would like you to extend loving and kindness to them as well. So breathe in loving and kindness for that person. And lastly, we will extend warm wishes outward to all beings. Let's extend affection to people in the community, to our neighbors, and to anyone and everyone all over the world. Let's spread love and kindness in all directions for all people. Just breathe that in, breathe that out. And just notice how you feel, how it feels to open your heart, how it feels to generate and share loving and kindness, not only to yourself, but to others. When you are ready, and come back into the room, bring your attention back to your space, and I invite you to take this loving kindness with you throughout your day. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Almost said cut.
Thank you, Val. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.